Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 236, written by Ink Death, Memory Fibers Woven with Time. When I die, I hope to get this one question answered. Yeah, I would definitely choose this one. When I was in 7th grade, you got to choose music or study hall as one of your classes. Each class block was 45 minutes. I chose music, which was held in the gym across the school. It was a day like any other. I distinctly remember the bell going off, telling me to go to my last class. So, because it was music, I left my backpack in classroom and headed to gym. I remember going down the stairs. Then, I remember going down the stairs again. This time, my backpack was packed and I was heading to the bus. Music class was over, and I had somehow gone and gotten back to my classroom and packed my bag. Except I didn't go. My whole life I've had missing time. It's something I'm used to. I wasn't scared about it. I didn't think too much about it either. I was a good kid, straight A's, never missed school or class. When I got to school the next day, my music teacher yelled at me about missing class again. First off, when did I ever miss her class in the first place? And I was there. I had to have been. I launched a whole investigation. None of the teachers or classmates remember seeing me. The nurse, who was at the bottom of the stairs, never saw me come down the stairs. And all the doors are locked from the inside, so you can leave but not get back in. The only way back in is the main entrance, and you have to be let in by the principal or the front desk person. And neither of them saw me. So it hypothetically happened to me twice, and to this day, there is nowhere I could have been without being seen. So where the hell was I? And how did I get my backpack? Case file number 237, written by Diakoptes, Misty Vomits. A friend and I went to a buddy's house for a birthday party. Stayed up playing Halo 2 and hanging out. We all crashed in the basement. Our friend who came with me, and I, got up at the same time. Not like one after the other. We both got up at the exact same time after being asleep for a few hours and rushed to the bathroom. R was more athletic than me, and probably still is, and beat me there. I ran upstairs, barely getting my head over the toilet before puking my guts out. R was doing the same thing in the basement below. I was wearing a wooden cross my grandmother mailed me from Romania. I'm not religious, but I appreciated the gift as I had never met her at that point. The cross somehow became detached from the cord, fell on the tile, and broke into 2 pieces. So we both call our respective mothers and get picked up. By now it's like 3 or 4 a.m. I felt sick until we left the house. Once I was in the car and a few blocks away, felt perfectly fine. R reported the same thing to me that day over MSN Messenger. Felt perfectly fine after a few blocks away. Got the pictures developed a few weeks later. There's a picture of us on the couch rocking some Halo, and the whole room looks like it's filled with mist. Super spooky. I've been looking for the pic for a long time and I can't seem to find it anymore. But every few years, my sister and I search my mom's photo albums for it. Case file number 238, written by Level 100 Gamer, Universe into Universe, from the Loo. I heard lots of stories about when you die, you get sent into an alternate universe where things are more or less the same, except minor details change, such as designs are different, or maybe even everyday things are different, people included. So to get straight to the point, there is a painting in my house which is a black and white tree with all of its leaves on the ground, with branches hanging over a bench. I also have an electric fireplace which is on the main wall. I woke up in the middle of the night to do you-know-what. The pains were terrible, and I remember passing out. I woke up and it was 1:27 a.m. I remember leaving to go to the toilet at 1:23 a.m., so that was pretty strange. And when I finished up in the bathroom and walked out, the painting was different. It had leaves on the tree, and the leaves from the ground were gone. My fireplace had an extended wall behind it too. I have lived in this house for years, so I definitely can tell the difference. I don't really know what to do other than post this. If I tell my family, they'll only laugh at me. Is this a glitch in the Matrix? Case notes, file number 238. Well, this certainly does appear to be a quick story of quantum immortality. You die in one reality, but your consciousness isn't permanently bound to one body. It can move between them, even in other universes, or server realms as I like to think of them. It even sounds like something that happened to me when I was a teenager. I had unfathomable pain in my stomach, which suddenly just ended. Although I didn't notice any huge details off if I did cross over myself back then. You did, and it was a big detail. A painting changing is not something you can miss or forget, nor is it something that a memory fade could explain, like the Mandela effect, remembering things differently from a long time ago. No, this was a painting in your own home. You saw it every day. You can't misremember what it looks like. If you're enjoying this video, consider giving it a like. Now on to the next story. Case file number 239, written by RipSikoe, The Great Cookie Imposter. Some backstory. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, but moved to Denver in 2013 with my girlfriend and lived there for about 5.5 years until we had our daughter and decided to move home to be closer to family. We would always come home for major holidays while we lived there, since traveling on our own dime across the country as a 19 and 23-year-old was kind of expensive. We were back at home visiting for Christmas when me, my girlfriend, and 3 buddies from back home, decided to try a new 24-hour cookie place downtown called Insomnia Cookies. Nice name. When we walked in, the place was packed. The line wrapped around the inside of the room from the register to the front door, and we were basically last in line behind about 5 other groups of people. I heard the lady behind the counter yell towards our direction, but at me specifically. "Hey, you forgot to get your tips the other night when you left early." And I didn't respond because obviously she couldn't have been talking to me since I live in Denver, Colorado. She repeated herself again. This time, I responded and apologized because I wasn't the person she was looking for, but jokingly told her I'd take the tips anyways. She looked kind of annoyed and was like, "Right, well, if you want them, I can grab them for you." I told her again that I was just kidding, and I really was not this person who she thought she worked with every single day. So after reassuring her, she again, with kind of an attitude, took our order and we were on our way. We all talked about how weird it was on the way back to my girlfriend's mom's house, but chalked it up to just another look-alike story. Well, fast forward to last night, 5 years later. My girlfriend, who ironically is pregnant again, was craving snickerdoodle cookies from the same place. Around 10 o'clock at night or so, I decided to take the 30-minute trip downtown to grab her favorite cookies. It was Saturday night, so it was like it was last time I went. It was slam-packed to the point where the line ran outside. I finally made it to the front door when I realized I had forgotten my wallet and phone in the car. As I turned around, I frustratingly said out loud, "Damn it!" And to my surprise, a guy was walking up in an Insomnia cookie hat and shirt and said, "What's wrong? Did you forget your wallet or something?" And I replied, "Yeah, my wallet and my freaking phone." And he said, "Damn, well run and grab it. I forget, what do you usually get?" I was super thrown off by this, so I just said, "A half a dozen snickerdoodle cookies?" And to my surprise, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Go grab your stuff and find me when you get here, and I'll make sure they get you some fresh ones made." And then he went inside. The whole walk back to my truck and now to the store, I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? I finally made it back and don't see him, so I just hop back in the long-ass line. After about 10 minutes of standing in a non-moving line, he pops his head out looking for me and yells, "Yo, bro, what are you doing? I told you to come find me. These cookies are getting cold." And then hands the cookies to me, shakes my hand and tells me it's good to see me and you'll see me again soon. So again, I'm like, what the bonkers hell is going on right now? He walks around the corner and I take a $20 bill out and walk to the front of the line to the lady at the register. I hold up my $20 and ask, how much do I owe for these? And she said, "What do you mean? You heard him. You're good to go. I'll see you again soon." I just turned around and walked out, still in shock about who the hell they think I am, but apparently I have a good look-alike or something. Good enough to get me someone else's tips and a free half-dozen cookies. Or is something more afoot? Case file number 240, written by SM127, of Death and the Stroke of a Pen. In college, I took a hard news, soft news journalism class where one of the assignments was to write an obituary for one of my grandparents. The professor told us to write it on a deceased grandparent, but if all of your grandparents were still alive, we had to choose one. In my case, all of my grandparents were alive. I procrastinated actually doing the assignment until the night before it was due because it seemed like a morbid assignment, especially since all of my grandparents were still alive. Scramming for an easy grandparent to write about, I gave my mom a call and asked her for some basic biographical information about my maternal grandfather. As we were talking about my grandpa's career, my mom couldn't recall the name of one of the companies he worked at. She lectured me about waiting until the last minute to write the assignment because it was late, like 10:30 p.m., my grandpa's time. However, she said that she would give him a call to see if he was still awake and be able to answer that question once my assignment was due the following morning. When my mom called my grandma answered the phone in a panic. My grandma frantically explained that the paramedics had just arrived and were performing CPR on my grandpa because he had stopped breathing and lost consciousness. My mom was able to stay on the phone with my grandma until they took my grandpa to the hospital, where he sadly was declared dead. At the time my mom and I had been talking on the phone about my grandpa's obituary, he was actually dying. His death was entirely unexpected. Although he was in his 80s, he was the healthiest of my grandparents at the time. We ended up using the obituary I wrote for that assignment writing as his actual obituary. Still freaks me out when I think about the timing.